I've been a bit weary on reviewing this one because I know I'm gonna get a bit of flack. Because I had my review, I had all my opinions, my lovely gift-wrapped opinions, and I filmed a video, and then I got on Goodreads, and literally nobody agrees with me. So this is gonna be fun. I've been trying to avoid this one for far too long, so we are gonna talk about it. And I literally just splashed myself in the face with coffee. So, yeah, okay. I think on Goodreads I ended up giving this 2 stars, even though the more I thought about it and the more my anger grew, it has dwindled down to 1 star. I was being generous because, I don't know, everyone else liked it and I didn't want to be the odd one out, but I couldn't. So let's talk about this one. Going with my 5-star system that is calculated to make every reading experience great. Because I love things too easily and I dish out those 5 stars way too easily. So I have to do this to pace myself. That is, a star goes to plot, a star goes to importance, a star goes to emotion, and then 2 stars go to character. Because that's most important. And I know I say this at the beginning of every one of my videos. Hello, welcome to my channel. The first star I gave this book for was the plot, which had a good premise, I think. It did. So the book takes place in this town called Fairfold, where it's modern day, but all the fairy things exist. And everyone believes it, but somehow doesn't believe in it, and it's a big touristy town where tourists will come and get killed by fairies pretty often. So tourists still come because tourists do that, which very believable. But they actually get killed and they actually have proof of such things. So, but people still live there. And they think as long as they're respectful, they'll be fine. But most people don't actually believe it. See, the line on that was really, really vague because it talked about how it was a known truth. And it talked about how the fairies were a known truth and all these, like, fairy folk and fae are a known truth. And then other people be like, I never believed in that. And it's like... Anyways, in the center of all of this, which is the biggest tourist attraction, there is a glass coffin in the middle of the forest where a horned boy has been asleep for however many long years, generations upon generations. No one knows how he got there, what it is. The glass is unbreakable. Pretty cool, which I thought was a great start. So with the plot, of course, you know, the glass gets broken and the lead, Hazel, I think. This is upside down. Hazel is the lead, and her brother, and they are trying to figure out what happened because they always had kinship with the horned boy in his glass coffin. The premise of this sounded fascinating to me, and that's kind of where these things end. Getting into the things I didn't like, which is a bit. So, emotion is the first star I took off. I felt absolutely nothing for any of the situations, anything that was going on other than this is kind of cool. There wasn't very good description with the magical elements, but you get other descriptions of things that don't quite make sense. You get a catalog description of every single thing the main character wears, but not really on these fairy fae folk. Like, it's, and like, sometimes it is super descriptive and other times it's not, and these are like fantastical elements that I would like to be in that world. I'd love to hear about that world, but it's just kind of like, oh, there's a fae over there, and it's like, what does it look like? I don't know, but I know what she's wearing. Like, I know for sure, like, I read this book weeks ago now, and I know everything that the lead was wearing still, and I can't remember literally anything else. But the characters weren't enthralling to me to be emotional about it. I think I actually laughed out loud whenever everything was intense, things were coming to a climax, and then one character confesses his love at like the height of all like the stuff going down, and I'm just all like, Well, okay. The next star I had to take off was for importance. I didn't see a main point to this book other than don't mess with fairies, don't bargain with them. And it's like, okay, that's a very easy life lesson to follow. I have not made any bargains with fairies since reading this book, so life changed, guys. Now, I need to talk about the biggest star taken off, which is 2 stars taken off for what I call the most important, can everyone say it along with me, character. I found a bit more substance in some of the side characters, particularly in the lead's brother, whose name I already forgot. So that wasn't much, but my main problem was with the lead. I have no idea what she is. So there are 2 separate characters here I want to describe for you guys. One being Hazel, who is a brooding teen, as brooding as it gets. She does have a questionable upbringing, a questionable relationship with her parents. She has had her childhood full of parental neglect, has had to let her brother practically raise her, who is not much older than her in the first place, and things happen in her life. She starts wanting to fight the fairies in the forest, makes bargains, suffers loss, goes through all of this very intense, gory, and psychological traumatizing stuff. Current Hazel is very serious and very sad all the time, completely sad. So I want to introduce that character. She's right there. And then I'm going to pull up this other character, who is also Hazel, who is the person described very often. So here we go. Hazel lives her life to the fullest. She kisses every single boy that she meets, and she doesn't care what anybody thinks. She watches Doctor Who, and she does quirky hipster things, and she wears dresses with pterodactyls on them, and she lives her life to the fullest. She's a fun gal to be around. And now I want you to see these 2 characters. I want you to try to put these things into one picture. What I got, actually, was very fascinating. It was Batman. So you have Batman, tragic past, doing things now because of that tragic past, being a hero, but in a pterodactyl print dress. And he's just like, I like to kiss boys, and I like to have fun. That's my best Batman voice, I apologize. And it just really doesn't fit. I understand having layers to characters. I really do. That is one of my favorite things about them. And I feel like what tried to happen there was a layering of characters. But the thing about layers is they kind of have to go together. It's like you're making, like your character is a really good lasagna. And it's just all like you have these layers of pasta and then you have these layers of cheese, and that works well together. Then you throw in something completely random like sprinkles or mint, and it's not a lasagna anymore. Nobody quite knows what it is, which isn't entirely a good thing. I know some things that you didn't expect to work well together. I know a lot of people like dipping their French fries in ice cream, but this was way too confused and inconsistent for me. Yeah, it really didn't resonate with me in any way, which I'm sorry to say. I really wanted to like it. I know Holly Black's really popular right now, and this is one of her earlier books. This came out in 2015. Maybe I should try something current. I don't know. If you think that that is a possibility of something I should do, comment. If there are any other books that are excellent, comment as well. I'd love to know. I really would. I trust you guys. But nah, I'd give this one a skip, so can't wait to see you guys in my next video. Later, taters.